So after thinking for a couple of days on what I wanted to do this presentation on, I came to the realization that my time as a graduate student is very much like being a superhero. Now, let me go on record and say that Superman is not my favorite superhero, but his characteristics and personality certainly apply to my experience here. So, Superman's Earth parents, the Kents, tried to imbue upon him three characteristics: that of purpose, morality, and compassion. And if you think about it, those characteristics certainly apply to us as we, as future student affairs professionals, prepare to enter the world. So, the first characteristic is that of purpose. Our main purpose in this field is our students, which is why it's the biggest word on this picture. But there are other words on here that are just as important, like diversity, respect, values, and leaders. Keeping all of these words in mind, if we serve our students today, then we are building them into leaders of tomorrow. And that second characteristic was also very important, and that was morality. College is a time of transition, which can very often be difficult for students to navigate. So it's up to us, as those professionals, to help them navigate that transition. Because if we don't help them figure out what is right and what is wrong, potentially nobody else will, and that can be devastating. And that third characteristic, and maybe one of the more important ones, is that of compassion. And just like the t-shirt says, it really does begin with us. We are here doing this job because it is what we feel we are meant to do in this world, because we have a passion for it and a passion for the students with whom we serve. And if we don't emulate that passion onto our students, then they can't emulate that onto everyone else with whom they interact. So again, it circles back to us. Now, Superman is no exception, but every superhero has a superhero costume. A cape, some shields, maybe an armor. I too have a superhero costume. Mine is my orientation polo, because every time I wore it, I truly felt invincible, and there was nothing that I couldn't do. It was like something was running through my veins, and there was no stopping me. Now, how I got those powers was very special, because I got it from the support of my orientation leader staff. Because for the first time in my life, I felt like it was a group of people that accepted me for who I was. I didn't have to be someone who I wasn't. You can even see me in the middle of our group photo my last summer as an orientation leader. Sometimes I really wish I could go back to that because it was one of my favorite experiences. Now, every superhero also has their weaknesses. For Superman, it's kryptonite. For me, my kryptonite is stress, trying to balance capstone, fellowship, all of our other courses, job applications, and trying to maintain a social life. How do we do it without falling apart and without struggling and crumbling at the end? Well, it all comes with managing our kryptonite. For Superman, he had his Justice League of 6 other superheroes to lean on whenever he needed their help. For me, I'm no exception. I have my Justice League of also 6 friends in this program who are going through the same thing that I am. We may not have superheroes, but we can tackle anything that comes our way, and we already have and will continue to do so. Also, Superman had his Krypton father, Jor-El, to give him encouraging and uplifting words of support whenever he needed it. I have Allison Gill, my supervisor, who encourages me to take things one day at a time and one step at a time. And if I can do that, there's nothing that can stop me. I probably wouldn't still be here if it weren't for her. Now, keeping all of this in mind, there's always a lesson to be learned whenever a superhero saves the day. So whether you're Lois Lane being saved by Superman, Rachel Dawes being saved by Batman, or a graduate student being saved by Susan because we got a capstone extension, there's always a lesson to be learned. And that first lesson, and something that I credit Paul to, is that we have to trust the process. Graduate school is a process. It has its ups and its downs, times we felt like we could have conquered the world, and times we felt like we just wanted to give up. But if we trust the process and trust that things will happen as they should, then they will. And aside from trusting the process, a little bit more internally, we also have to remember to trust ourselves. It is so much easier in life to just want to give up and not push on because, like I said, it's easier. And this program is no exception. It gets tough, but trust yourself that you can do this, and you will. And up until now, we have, and we will continue to do so. And the next lesson to also keep in mind is that the journey is part of the experience. So you kind of just have to buckle up and enjoy the ride. We may not think it now, but we are going to want to get this time back. No matter how much we want to, we will never get this time back. So we need to be appreciative of the opportunities that lie ahead and those that have already been presented to us. Like for me, that first opportunity was attending the NASPA Region 1 Conference in Newport, Rhode Island. Being able to learn the best practices from other institutions across the region, from growing and established professionals, was truly a great learning experience for me, and I can't wait to go back next year, hopefully as an employed professional. Another opportunity that has been presented to me that I'm also appreciative for is my experience at the First Generation College Student Summit at Wellesley College. I am a first generation college student. However, I had a fairly easy transition into college. Not every college student can say that. So when I heard some of their eye-opening stories of how they were sleeping in their cars, failing their classes, and just trying to transition to overall college life, it really made me open my eyes and be appreciative of what I had. Now, as a result of these lessons, I've gotten closer to the cohort, all of you. And as I said before, not only are you some of my closest friends, you've now also become my Justice League. And together, we have conquered some obstacles that we've been presented with in the past, and we'll conquer some obstacles that we'll be presented with in the future. Now, the last lesson, and probably the most important one today, is that everything is okay. Everything will always be okay. So no matter how many pages of your capstone you have left to write, no matter how many assignments are due on the same day, or no matter how many job applications you have yet to hear from, everything is okay. Everything will always be okay. And I know this because we have not been set up to fail. We are literally inches away from achieving our master's degree, and we've done that with not only the support of each other, but the support of our staff and our supervisors beside us. They have been so encouraging and so helpful throughout the way that I don't think it's possible for any of us to fail, no matter how hard we think we have to try. Now, keeping all of this in mind, if you feel as if you've done all that you can, you've pushed through all that you might, you've given up all your strength, and you've tried to acquire some superhero powers, if you feel like you can't do that, just keep calm and call Superman. Thank you.